Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 14 of our TCW Save and TEW 2020. This is the War to Settle the Score, our second pay-per-view, our February pay-per-view in the series, and appreciate you guys being patient. I know it's kind of been, haven't had as many uploads again this past week, but as I said, sometimes just happens in terms of work gets busy and all that stuff. So, but been working hard on the show, and hopefully it delivers because we got a lot of fun stuff in this one. And so let's get started as we start things off on the pay-per-view. It is Kyle Rhodes coming out, and he's in the ring, and we see our world champion, Aaron Andrews, makes his way out to the ring as well. So this is how we kick things off, 86 for this segment, and we get the official announcement that Aaron Andrews is officially cleared to compete in tonight's Cage Wars match in our main events with Aaron Andrews' team taking on the Syndicate. And so he announces that he's cleared and that he is ready for war. So that's just kind of your basic setup here. We've been kind of playing it up as he would be ready to go, but there's a reason why we're kind of playing up here. And he just kind of talks about his injuries and finally being cleared and feeling like he's ready now, that he's 100% ready to go for this match at Cage Wars. So that's how we get it started. The fans are excited. They're happy, but maybe not for long, as here comes Wolf Huggins. So I know this is kind of like a TV show setup here to start things off, but there's a reason why. So Wolf comes out, and we have kind of the face-to-face here between Aaron Andrews and Wolf Huggins. Again, we know they can't touch each other, given the rule that's in place. They could forfeit their spot in tonight's main event, but it is Wolf saying basically that he's glad that Aaron Andrews is cleared and that they will not let him forget what they did to him because, he says, the Syndicate will not allow Aaron Andrews to walk out of Cage Wars tonight, and that they will do it by any means necessary, and that any other outcome is unacceptable. That is what Wolf Huggins says here. So, very short promo from Wolf, but he makes it clear that the Syndicate and his goal is to make sure that Aaron Andrews does not walk out of Cage Wars tonight. So, 88 for the segment. A couple hot segments here to start things off. And yes, I always got to find a way to get these two interacting, right? Because they give us nice ratings. So there you go. That's your setup for tonight's main events. 5-on-5 Cage Wars. All right, show-wise, the match-wise, I guess we could say. We start things off with Rich and Famous getting their first ever win in TCW. Jake Idle, Jackpot Jordan get the win over Dean Daniels and Elliot Thomas, 53 for this match. So gave him about 12 minutes on this one. And so I mean, we were just kind of pushing the fact that this is Rich and Famous' first win. So of course they're gloating after the match. They're excited, all this other stuff. And if you were looking for the Elliot Thomas main event push, he had the main event against Wolf, but not quite there to get him a main event yet on pay-per-view. So comes up short here in his team with Dean Daniels, but Rich and Famous getting a win. That's the biggest note here on this one. So, all right, next match. Another kind of new debuting star, as it is Ernest Youngman losing to Flying Jimmy Fox, but here's why. So, the story here is that Jimmy Fox gets the win over Youngman, and it's because Ernest Youngman gets disqualified after going into an attacking rage. So, that's kind of what we're pushing here. Ernest Youngman, the assassin, sort of doesn't know when to let up. His only goal is destruction, essentially. And so Youngman just goes at it. Finally, the official has no choice but to throw the match out after Youngman gets disqualified, going into the attacking rage. And of course, after the match, that leads to Benson coming in, checking on Fox. And we've got Youngman and Benson, really taunting each other. Benson just, very angry, pointing at Youngman after the match. And so, why do we do this? Well, you guys can probably have a pretty good guess. So, Flying Jimmy here was not going to put over Ernest Youngman because, he just doesn't have the ratings yet to be able to do it. We tried to ask. He wasn't having it. So, ultimately, we had to go with the DQ finish here and giving Flying Jimmy the win. But we did keep Ernest Youngman strong, which that's kind of the goal here. And again, anything with Ernest Youngman right now is going to help his popularity because, he doesn't have much. So that's kind of what we had to do in this one. But so it's not really a loss. It's just kind of, essentially he wins, but he gets disqualified in the process. So that's what we had to do here with this match. But I'm fine with it. Again, it'll be fine. And we're not exactly pushing Ernest Youngman to the main event, in 3 months or anything. So that's, it's kind of a slow build for him. So 59 for this segment. So, of course, afterwards you can probably guess what could come next after Youngman takes out his aggression on Flying Jimmy Fox. All right, then it's our TV Championship match, the rematch from the Total Wrestling main event we had a couple weeks ago, as it is Greg Gage getting the win over Dazzling Dave Diamond. We get a full 10 minutes out of Dave here, and that could be the most significant aspect of this pay-per-view, is that we get a 10-minute match with Dazzling Dave Diamond. So, that's a good thing. But it is Greg Gage getting the win. In all honesty, I would have preferred to go pinfall here, but I just forgot to add the pinfall finish, so it gets submission because the Proton Lock is what Gage uses, but it's fine. We'll push it however we need to kind of push it on that. The 12th successful title defense now, the TCW Television Championship, and our first ever on pay-per-view. Remember that. So, first time we've ever defended on pay-per-view. We threw out the rule. We're like, all right, let's get this pay-per-view. Let's get this title on the pay-per-view. So, Gage gets the win in the rematch, and it's kind of pushing Gage stepping up here, understanding that he couldn't get disqualified, he couldn't get counted out, and that he would lose his title. So it's really kind of pushing that Greg Gage takes his game to the next level here to beat Dazzling Dave. Essentially fair. And so, again, the great chemistry between these two. 74, I don't think this did not do as well as their first match, but it may have been because it went 10 minutes, but I can tell you exactly why. It's got a lot to do with Dazzling Dave. It does. Stamina, low morale, declining physical ability, the low heat for the storyline. So all that stuff. But, we did our best. We try to protect Dazzling Dave, but at a certain point, the barroom brawler here just he taps out. He's done for the evening. And so probably about the 7 or 8 minute mark, he was done for. So nonetheless, Greg Gage, successful title defense here. And again, the great chemistry between the two gave us another match out of this thing, which we were kind of going for anyway. So Gage gets the win. We'll see what's next for him. We'll also see what's next for Dazzling Dave after the pay-per-view. All right, then we get to our tag team champion. Wow, I almost got an 80 match here, 79 between these two teams. Are you kidding me? Anything with Killer Shark and Titan in it to get a 79, we will absolutely take. But we kept this short, as you would guess. Great heat and good wrestling. We're worried about the heat here between these four, but it is Mighty Meaty. Mo and Tana retaining the championships in the rematch from the Mouse in Wonderland, as it is Mo pinning Titan with the plunging spinebuster. So now that is their second successful title defense. We know they beat Rich and Famous several weeks ago on Total Wrestling. Mo carries at 82 for the in-ring performance from Mo. Mo is a star without question. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm even not that upset about, like I said, Titan's in-ring performance has been better than people would think. Killer Shark, he's getting there. So not enough selling shown. These guys aren't selling anything. They're just beating the hell out of each other. Who cares about selling in this match? But again, I'll happily take a 79. I don't remember what we got at Malice in Wonderland. I'll have to look back at that in that match. We may have gotten higher. I don't remember. But we did do Wild Brawl for this one because, it's kind of something we could get out of those guys here. So, yeah, I mean, really, the only penalty was the lack of selling. So this match did about as good as it could do with this group. But again, though, the story is that Mighty Meaty retains. They win the second straight match here against the Behemoths. And so the Center Society kind of reeling a little bit here now when you look at it. And afterwards, that leads to a 69, a nice rating here, as Eddie Peak just goes off. So we've got, Killer Shark and Titan. They're pissed off after losing. Nick Booth's there, and Eddie Peak just starts looking around as Mo and Tana make their exit. And Eddie Peak is he's done this time. Like, this set him off. He just starts trashing the ringside area, so we've got stuff everywhere. He's throwing, stuff off the announce table. He's throwing chairs around. He's just hitting, like, the ring post with a chair. Like, Eddie Peak has lost it, and that's when we see Shark and Titan and Booth all trying to calm him down, but he just starts shoving these guys away. And so Eddie Peak, it's just, he's not happy here. Something has set him off here after, the team coming up short again to regain those titles. So what's going to happen with Eddie Peak? But perhaps we'll find out on Total Wrestling. There's one teaser of several to come here on the show for our next edition of Total Wrestling. 69 for this one. All right. Well, I don't remember. I know someone said in the comments, calling it now, and you were right, because I know the main event's not going to beat this, because we got too many guys in there that we got 10 guys in the main event, and they're not going to beat this from a rating standpoint. I can guarantee that. But it is Jay Chord beating Human Arsenal, John Anderson, in 20 minutes and 44 seconds. The Cradle Pile Driver does it. A tremendous match here. 87 for this one, and we see that's what Jay Chord's in-ring performance is, 87. Human Arsenal, John Anderson, 71 on this one. We went long here, and we did do kind of the slow build for this because when you looked at the skills, these were two guys that could support it. Wanted to try to get the best possible match we could out of this one. That's kind of how we set it up. And again, we gave them time to do it. I think we had 21 minutes on this one. Yeah, so 21 minutes for the match. And this was pretty tremendous. Really, the only penalty is kind of due to the storyline heat, which we added Human Arsenal to the Chord versus Box storyline. Remember, we kind of kept these initially. I haven't updated the storylines fully just yet. So if I would have done that, this would have been a lot better, right? So nonetheless, an 87 for this one as Jay Chord gets the win over Human Arsenal. Said he wanted good competition, and clearly this was a competitive match to get an 87 out of this one. So this delivered. I know, maybe initially when I set it up, it maybe looked like one of those matches that, this could be interesting. Kind of what the next step was for Jay Chord. Well, we go to Human Arsenal here, and I wonder what's going to happen next, because after the match, just like we saw at Malice in Wonderland, Jay Chord is not finished here. And I guess, look, this is my own fault, and whatever, it is what it is. But I don't remember even putting anyone as scripted in this, but you know what? Sometimes you just start clicking buttons, and it's very possible that I may have accidentally hit script on Jay Chord. This was more of like an entertainment performance type segment here. So this is my own fault to get a 67 on this one. I'll take the blame for this one, but the match outdoes it from that standpoint. But so after the match, Jay Chord has just won this hard-fought contest, and just like he did to Danny Fonzarelli after Malice in Wonderland, after the match they had there, he starts attacking Human Arsenal. So Jay Chord has not had enough. He's just throwing punches. He's mounting John Anderson here, and he's just throwing and hauling off on punches and just kind of, again, letting the frustration out, which we've seen with Jay Chord recently, wanting more competition. Even after, though, a hard-fought match, he just continues this, and he starts attacking him. So the officials come in, they break it up. So we've got all the officials kind of just, running over, checking on Human Arsenal in the ring here, and that is when Jay Chord turns and he starts yelling at Kyle Rhodes, who, of course, is sitting at the announce table, which part of it has been destroyed by Eddie Peak recently. And Jay Chord just starts yelling at Kyle Rhodes, demanding that Rhodes meet him in the ring on Total Wrestling. He says he's got something he's been needing to do. And so Jay Chord is basically telling Kyle Rhodes he better meet him in the ring on Total Wrestling because there's something he needs to do. So what is Jay Chord going to do? That is the next big question after getting a victory over Human Arsenal, then attacking him. But now there is some reason why Jay Chord wants Kyle Rhodes in the ring on Total Wrestling. So we'll see what that is. 67 for this one. Like I said, that's my own fault. But the match, though, completely delivered the way we wanted it to. So there you go. All right, and then the winning streak continues for Joshua Taylor as another, it's a pretty good match here too, 78 for this one. I'll take that between these two. Joshua Taylor continues his streak here as he beats Bart Biggins in 1340. The Butterfly Lock gets the win on this one, and like I said, I will take that as a 78 for this one, and I know you guys have talked about it, but Joshua Taylor's pretty money whenever you put him in there with, a competitive match. I know we've kind of put him in there with some of the guys that are like developmental talent and such, but this kind of match he always delivers, has so far to this point. But we are kind of pushing something here, and it is worth noting that Joshua Taylor gets the win, but, we're kind of pushing, and it's hard to tell this outside of just using an angle, but we really didn't have any space to do it. Bart Biggins is, we're kind of seeing a new side of Bart Biggins here, kind of a, more of an edge to Bart Biggins, which we haven't sort of seen recently. And remember, this is coming off the heels of Jay Chord basically telling the world that he refused to wrestle Bart Biggins. And he just said he didn't think he was the kind of competition that was worthy of wrestling him. And we haven't seen Bart Biggins wrestle in a little bit now. Kind of came into some stuff with the Syndicate too. And so, so Joshua Taylor gets the win, but we see a little bit more of an edge to Bart Biggins here, even though he comes up short in this one. That's worth noting as we move forward. But Taylor's winning streak continues as he has still not lost a match since December when he lost in the world title match to Aaron Andrews. So Taylor continues his run here as he gets a win over Bart Biggins. 78 for this match. All right, then we get another one, 79. We'll take this one too. So got some good matches on this card. I really like the pairings on this one. So as in this match, it is Freddie Huggins getting the win over Ed Stone, the big rematch between the former partners that we put together. And of course, Freddie Huggins is not going to win this match cleanly. 17-15, so we gave these two guys some time too. as it is Freddie getting the win, using the ropes for leverage. Also worth noting, we get a little interaction here and a little interference from Laura Catherine Huggins. So, we're kind of keeping her in the mix as just kind of an important figure in Freddie Huggins' kind of path here to wherever he's trying to go. So Freddie gets the win. Good, 73 for the in-ring performance. These both guys, again, 79, even though Ed Stone was off his game, so this could have been better. Great chemistry between the two. That is worth noting. I'm not surprised by that. Remember, these are two former partners, and I was kind of expecting that, to have these two have great chemistry. So, this match really delivered. I don't think there's really anything. We did do the tainted finish on that one just because we wanted to use the cheating finish. But really, Ed being penalized for inconsistency is the only thing we got to knock on here. So we'll take this too, and it's Freddie getting a big pay-per-view win after it was Ed Stone, as we remember, getting the win at the previous pay-per-view in the M-Hawk challenge there. It's the Matt Hawking Open Challenge. Stone got the win in that one, but so that's kind of your setup here. Freddie gets the win, but does it by cheating, and so that is where we're at. All right, now it's going to lead us into our main event, and as usual, if you watch some of my other saves, I can't just put the main event match up there. We got to kind of let things play out and give you some storyline, important plot points in the match. So that's what we're going to do here. So as we head into the main event, one of our plot points in this match is that One Man Army and Doc Hammond, they just continue to fight each other. And think of the visual where basically every time someone comes over to try to fight one of these guys, essentially, it's just sort of the other, kind of pushing someone else to the side, and these two just get back to hauling off on each other. Somehow, during the entirety of this match, pretty much, these two are just fighting each other. So they just continue to fight each other throughout. So it essentially removes these two from the match, in a sense, because they're not really focused on anything else other than just beating the hell out of one another. So these two, and we know, long history, they use this entire match to basically just beat each other up. And so that's kind of the theme here, is these two just sort of keeping everybody else away, and we just see these two, it's kind of a unique element of this match, is that they just fight each other pretty much the entire match. So that's kind of what we're playing up here with these two. So essentially removes them from the mix a bit. Again, not a lot of, hardly any interaction with anyone else in the match. They fight each other. So 67 for this one. Just kind of made that a little bit of a segment here that's worth noting. Another plot point. As Wolf gets his hands on Chance Fortune and just hauls off on Chance Fortune, basically destroys him. So we just see kind of a flurry of offense here. Very impressive from Wolf, as we know. And Wolf has basically just, left Chance Fortune in a mess. And then after doing that, he throws him into the cage several times and just keeps throwing Chance Fortune into the cage. No one else able to save him. His other teammates are kind of down and out right now. And so Wolf just going off on Chance Fortune. Then what does he do? Daryl Devine is standing outside, because he's not in this match. Never got cleared to compete after the attack from the Syndicate. And then Wolf goes over and just shoves Chance Fortune's bloody face right in front of Daryl Devine, who's standing outside the cage. And Devine's got his hands on the cage. He's trying to do whatever he can, but he knows he cannot get in. And so Wolf is just shoving Chance Fortune's bloody face all on the cage right in front of Daryl Devine. And so Wolf, just the ultimate just heel here, doing this. So this gets to 76. Remember, we just kind of, did kind of your entertainment segment type stuff here. So Wolf, not letting up here, not very happy. But speaking of someone on the outside, well, we also get a spot after that previous one where Aaron Andrews, as we said, remember, kind of his, Chance Fortune's team's a little incapacitated here. And when Aaron Andrews finds himself in that situation, while all this is going on with Wolf, here comes Freddie Huggins, who we know has been taunting Aaron Andrews for a while now, over a month, right? So basically since the start of our save. And so Freddie comes out, and Aaron Andrews is kind of, regrouping next to the side of the cage. Well, here comes Freddie Huggins, and he's got something in his hand. We can't tell what it is, but Aaron Andrews' face is kind of laying against the cage, and that gives Freddie enough kind of space there to use a foreign object of some sort, and he just pops Aaron Andrews with this and sends him down. And that's when we kind of get, a situation where Devine has been occupied with what's going on over there with Wolf and Chance Fortune. But he sees this, and he goes over and starts kind of chasing Freddie Huggins out of the way. So Huggins is down and out. He's out of there. And so that's kind of another plot point here, is that Freddie Huggins has, taken out Aaron Andrews with a foreign object here. So another interesting development on this one. 74 for this. But eventually, you guys know kind of what this is leading to, right? So a little more action after this, but eventually it works to the showdown in the middle of the ring. Wolf Hawkins and Aaron Andrews, two guys who've gotten their hands on each other a little bit in this match, but not a ton. And so finally, again, Freddie Huggins just hit Aaron Andrews with a foreign object, and now Wolf is ready to finish him. Like, he is ready to put the ultimate cap on this thing. He said earlier he was not going to allow Aaron Andrews to walk out of this cage. Andrews has been taken out by Freddie Huggins with the foreign object, and now it is Wolf taking aim at Aaron Andrews here. And just as Wolf is about to put the finish on Aaron Andrews, out of nowhere, he's been down. He was taken out, by a couple guys on the Syndicate, but this guy just bursts up, and it is none other than T-Bone, who, as Wolf goes to after Aaron Andrews out of the side of sort of the camera shot here, we see T-Bone just leap, and he hits the huge lariat right on Wolf Hawkins, takes out Wolf, and then from there, Aaron Andrews is able to regroup a little bit. Andrews hits his finisher on Chris Flynn, and then T-Bone hits the power slam, one of his other finishers, on Chris Flynn. 90 for this segment. And that is our finish here. Oh, no. Oh, no. We've got an injury. Of course we do. It's a Cage Wars match. I should have expected somebody gets injured. Well, that's not good. But the finish is that T-Bone gets the win over Chris Flynn. And I know it says submission here because that's kind of how the match is set up, where it's kind of like submission only. But we're going to use kind of the caveat here that, look, we're booking our own little world here. We're going to make this kind of a pinfall finish because T-Bone's two finishers are pinfall. So we're going to do kind of the pinfall finish on this one. So it is T-Bone getting the win in the main event as he gets the victory over Chris Flynn. That is what we're going with after he just took out Wolf Hawkins with a huge lariat. And so it is your baby faces, the team of Aaron Andrews, Sammy Bach, T-Bone, One Man Army, and Chance Fortune getting the win over the Syndicate here as T-Bone gets another win on Chris Flynn. Remember, they've had a singles match before. Now gets another pin here on Chris Flynn. So 76 for the match. Would have been higher, but Sammy Bach with a broken ribs, and oh boy. So this is our first point kind of in the series where we're going to have to make some adjustments because Sammy's got some broken ribs. I don't remember exactly what the timeline is on that, but we'll obviously see here in just a second what that's going to look like. But yeah, not thrilled about that because the match would have did better, and I'm also not thrilled that there's probably going to be some stuff I may have to change up a little bit if Sammy is out for an extended amount of time. But nonetheless, T-Bone off his game. Wolf was, great in this match, 91 for his in-ring performance. Don't love that T-Bone was off his game, but it's fine for this one. Aaron Andrews with an 81. T-Bone still got a 71 on this one. So, again, like we said, and we did give this some time. Here's one of the things also worth noting. So, I tried to give this match more time, but when I did, it says, you're using Chris Flynn way too much. So, I couldn't make this any longer. And as I said, remember, we did kind of have to do a clone of this match where the the risk level or something was too high. Then One Man Army didn't want to participate, so I was like, we had to kind of clone the match, take it down a little bit. But remember, we're just kind of we have to move forward with our stories here, so we have to do what we have to do. But nonetheless, I mean, I would have to think if we look at kind of what happened here from the dirt sheet standpoint, this is what's kind of funny, isn't it? If you look at the dirt sheet, right, look how many guys in this promotion that are in kind of top feuds that have declining physical ability. Sammy, One Man Army, Chance Fortune, Doc Hammond, Eddie Chandler, Nick Johnson. Like, man, this is kind of one of those things, right? And that's why I think TCW now in February 2020 going to look a little bit different than probably TCW is going to look a year from now when you consider how many guys on this roster, and we've talked about it before, have the declining physical ability. So penalized for the disrupted by injury. We knew that was going to happen. So if this would have got an 80, I'd have been perfectly happy. 76, I'm not that disappointed on it, but we know without the injury, it probably would have got close. So it's fine. We'll take it. But again, the bigger story is that the winner is T-Bone, and that Wolf Hawkins and the Syndicate come up short here with this one. But we have to finish things up. Yep, I got it, Robert. Sammy, broken ribs. We'll see how long he's out. And that, oh, okay. Oh, now we get the twist. Well. I was not expecting this. So, the locker room not happy with Wolf after Wolf is the one that botches the move to get Sammy hurt. Oh, boy. So, now we've got some very interesting developments here. Not good for Wolf, the leader of the Syndicate. So, all right. Well, we've got some interesting stuff coming out of this. So, all right. Sammy, poor improvising down. I'm sure he was if he's injured and got broken ribs. So, 71 for this segment. So, I kind of put this at the end here. Honestly, probably wasn't necessary and may actually hurt overall rate. We'll see, but it is fine. So again, we kind of have the Aaron Andrews team celebrating after the match. So we couldn't get everyone in here, as we know, but we kind of have these guys celebrating afterwards. And as that's happening with these guys all out of the ring, we kind of just see the members of the Syndicate all just sort of sitting in the ring, kind of looking around, and that is when we see Wolf kind of giving this very interesting stare at the members of the Syndicate at the end of this show. So that's how we go off the air for this pay-per-view. So 71, like I said, probably not the greatest segment to finish up with, but we do get an 81 for the show, which we will take for that. Some good stuff on here. Again, if the Sammy Bach injury is probably the most notable thing coming out of this, as is T-Bone getting the win in the main event. Had some other big stuff, as we know. Jay Chord, what's going on with Kyle Rhodes. Eddie Peak loses his mind after Meaty win again in the Tag Team Championship match. A lot of stuff coming out of this pay-per-view. Freddie Huggins getting involved in the main event. So, yeah, a lot of stuff here. So we'll make our speeches, and then we'll see what we get to before we wrap up. All right, so the War to Settle the Score, excellent show. We struck gold with that. That's what we wanted. Sammy Bach injured, and yes, worth noting. Look, I can't ever remember injuries, how long people are out. I didn't think he would be out. If anything, is like one of those things, maybe like a week. But yeah, remember, it is reported though here the botch move from Wolf Hawkins. So we're gonna have to see how that affects things here moving forward. But so Sammy's gonna be able to wrestle through this, a couple weeks to heal, so that's good. I think with what we have set up next, we can actually keep Sammy out of the ring probably for a couple weeks. I can change a few things around on that, but luckily it doesn't impact our next thing for him. So, but we can probably find a way to keep him out of the ring for a couple weeks. So, all right. So good show. Other than the Sammy injury, we get a 760,000 viewers. Okay, so that's good for that. We get a 1.52 for the buy rate. Again, Sammy Bach injured. Poor Wolf is just getting thrown all around here. Yeah, not good for our guy Wolf here, but that's all right. So actually, if we look at this, I'm curious if we can kind of see if anything came out of this. I'm very curious to see if it happened. Let's see where I'm looking for something, and why can't I find it? I feel like I'm looking right at it. Personal info. Yeah, here we go. So, all right, simmering tension with Wolf Hawkins. I mean, this is kind of what we expected, right? So, there's some tension there, and that may affect our backstage a little bit, but we'll see who else has an issue with Wolf Hawkins coming out of this, and if anyone maybe does have that here. Remember, we had a match between these two, so we can go to Wolf. Okay, what if we... Oh, yeah, sorry, I've got to look at that. So I'll find Wolf and see if there's any other stuff that we need to look at here on that. Also worth noting, this happened before the pay-per-view, but I think since the last time we recorded, Freddie Huggins' contract up for renewal. I think you guys know I'm going to be extending Freddie's contract on the show there. So, all right, we have something here, and this is something with like the graduate, the first refusal for these guys. So these are graduates of, of the TCW School of Pro Wrestling. I was trying to remember what the name was. Yeah, so we can look at these guys and see if there's anything there. I'll probably kind of look at this and let you guys know afterwards, because I know this episode's already ran a little long with this, but we'll take a look at these guys and see what we need to do, and if we think anyone's got the goods to be the next big star for this. And so we'll kind of go into these guys a little bit. We may actually do this on the next episode of this. So Theodore here, Baroni. Wonder if he's got an interesting name. So, I mean, look, Theodore's he's not going to be a star, but he's 19 years old, and so good for him. Jacob Herring, he's got quite a glare. He's giving me quite a stare here, but yeah. So we'll look at all these guys, see what we need to do on that. But that was the War to Settle the Score. We'll see what the fallout is with Wolf and his botched move that injured Sammy Hawkins. Is this what takes down TCW? Is this the starting point for our demise as a promotion? I sure hope not. But still, I liked a lot of stuff on the card. I think, again, this is going to be a very interesting next pay-per-view cycle, as you'll see. We got a lot of big things in the works here as we look at that. And what we'll do, so actually we talked about the Wolf thing. Here's what we'll do. So the next episode is going to be our State of TCW for March. And so we'll go in, we'll look at the Wolf situation. We'll also look at these first refusal guys, the graduates, and all of that. And of course, we'll look at where is our popularity now. After this show, what are kind of the state of the world? That is what we're going to look at on the next episode. So we will do that. And for now, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you thought of the pay-per-view. Yeah, we will have a lot more stuff to come here on the channel, of course. WWE, AEW saves are there if you want the real-world stuff, even though we haven't done an episode on those in a little bit. But they're there. Got quite a few episodes, of course, 100-plus in the WWE save if you want to check that out. And, of course, exploring the Seaverse series. We're almost finished up with that, so you can check out any of the episodes in that as well. More new series on the way here as hopefully I can get back to doing more regular episodes here. I know it's kind of been all over the place the past several weeks, but work's picked up a little bit. And so, yeah, just one of those things. So appreciate you guys always for the great support. And, again, on the next episode of our TCW Save, it will be the State of TCW for March 2020.